Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Rajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Rajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Rajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Rajajana Rajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanajari Yamuna Tira Vanajari Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Bala Deva, Jaya Subhadra. Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada. Haribol, 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 Nitai Gaura Haribol. Gaur Premanande, Jaya Om Vishnupad Brahmamsa, Rasikacharya Dasa Shishimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki, Jaya Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Rasikacharya Astotra Sota Shishima Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj Prabhupada Ki, Grantaraj Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Ki, Gaur Premanande. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. We are reading from the Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, chapter 22, text 101 till 105. 105 is on the board. I will read 101 just like that, and 105 maybe you can repeat after me. Tavasmiti radan raja tataiva manasaridan tatstanam ashritas tanra modate sharanagataha. One whose body is fully surrendered takes shelter at the holy place where Krishna had his pastimes, and he prays to the Lord, "My Lord, I am yours." Understanding this with his mind, he enjoys spiritual bliss. And this is a small purport. The last two verses appear in the Hari Bhakti Vilas, 11.470 till 18. And 102, Sharana Lana Kare Krishna Atma Samarpana Krishna Tare Kare Tat Kale Atma Sama. When a devotee thus fully surrenders unto Krishna's lotus feet, Krishna accepts him as one of his confidential associates. Text 103. Martyo yadatyakta samasta karma niveditatma vichikirshito me tadamritatvam pratipatyamano mayatma bhuyaya chakalpate vai. The living entity who is subjected to birth and death attains immortality when he gives up all material activities, dedicates his life to the execution of my order, and acts according to my directions. In this way he becomes fit to enjoy the spiritual bliss derived from exchanging loving mellows with me. There is also a small purport. This is a quotation from Srimad Bhagavatam 11.29.34. Krishna was advising his most confidential servant Uddhava about Sambandha, Abhideya, and Prayojana. These concern one's relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead and the activities of that relationship, as well as the perfection of life. The Lord also describes the characteristics of confidential devotees. And 104. Ebe sadhana bhakti lakshana shuna sanatana yaha haite pai Krishna prema mahadana. My dear Sanatan, please now hear about the regulative principle for the execution of devotional service. By this process, one can attain the highest perfection of love of Godhead, which is the most desirable treasure. And now maybe if you can repeat after me, line after line, 105. Kriti sadhya bhavet sadhya bhava sa sadhana. No. Okay. Krishna sadhya bhavet sadhya. Please.
Kriti sadhya bhavet sadhya.
Bhavasa sadhana vidha.
Bhavasa sadhana vidha.
Nitya siddhasya bhavasya.
Nitya siddhasya bhavasya.
Prakatyam riddhi sadhyata.
Prakatyam riddhi sadhyata.
Kriti sadhya bhavet sadhya.
Kriti sadhya bhavet sadhya.
Bhavasa sadhana vidha.
Bhavasa sadhana vidha.
Nitya siddhasya bhavasya.
Nitya siddhasya bhavasya.
Prakatyam riddhi sadhyata.
Prakatyam riddhi sadhyata.
Kriti sadhya bhavet sadhya.
Kriti sadhya bhavet sadhya.
Bhavasa sadhana vidha.
Bhavasa sadhana vidha.
Nitya siddhasya bhavasya.
Nitya siddhasya bhavasya.
Prakatyam riddhi sadhyata.
Prakatyam riddhi sadhyata.
Kriti sadhya bhavet sadhya.
Kriti sadhya bhavet sadhya.
Bhavasa sadhana vidha.
Bhavasa sadhana vidha.
Nitya siddhasya bhavasya.
Nitya siddhasya bhavasya.
Prakatyam kriti sadhyata.
Prakatyam riddhi sadhyata.
Kriti sadhya bhavet sadhya.
Kriti sadhya bhavet sadhya. Bhavasa sadhana vidha. Nitya siddhasya bhavasya. Prakatyam riddhi sadhyata.
Kriti sadhya bhavet sadhya.
Kriti sadhya bhavet sadhya.
Bhavasa sadhana vidha.
Bhavasa sadhana vidha.
Nitya siddhasya bhavasya.
Nitya siddhasya bhavasya.
Prakityam vidhi sadhata.
Prakatyam riddhi sadhyata.
Kriti sadhya bhavet sadhya.
Kriti sadhya bhavet sadhya.
Bhavasa sadhana vidha.
Bhavasa sadhana vidha.
Nitya siddhasya bhavasya.
Nitya siddhasya bhavasya.
Prakatyam vidhi sadhata.
Prakatyam riddhi sadhyata.
Someone else?
Kriti sadhya bhavet sadhya. Bhavasa sadhana vidha. Nitya siddhasya bhavasya. Prakatyam riddhi sadhyata.
Kriti sadhya,
Kriti sadhya,
which is to be executed by the senses.
which is to be executed by the senses.
Bhavet,
Bhavet
should be.
should be
Sadhya bhava,
sadhya bhava,
by which love of Godhead is acquired.
by which love of Godhead is acquired.
Sa,
Sa,
that.
that.
Sadhana abhidha,
Sadhana abhidha,
called sadhana bhakti, or devotional service in practice.
called sadhana bhakti or devotional service in practice.
Nitya siddhasya,
Nitya siddhasya,
which is eternally present.
which is eternally present.
Bhavasya,
Bhavasya,
of love of Godhead.
of love of God.
Prakatyam,
Prakatyam,
the awakening.
the awakening.
Hridi, in the heart. Sadhyata,
Sadhana,
potentially.
potential.
Translation. when transcendental devotional service, by which love for Krishna is attained, is executed by the senses, it is called sadhana bhakti, or the regulative discharge of devotional service. Such devotion eternally exists within the heart of every living entity. The awakening of this eternal devotion is the potentiality of devotional service in practice. Purport. This verse is found in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 1.2. Because living entities are minute, atomic parts and parcels of the Lord, devotional service is already present within them in a dormant condition. Devotional service begins with Shravanam Kirtanam, hearing and chanting. When a man is sleeping, he can be awakened by sound vibration. Therefore, every conditioned soul should be given the chance to hear the Hare Krishna mantra chanted by a pure Vaishnava. One who hears the Hare Krishna mantra thus vibrated is awakened to spiritual consciousness or Krishna consciousness. In this way, one's mind gradually becomes purified, as stated by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Cheto Darpanamarjanam. When the mind is purified, the senses are also purified. Instead of using the senses for sense gratification, the awakened devotee employs the senses in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. This is the process by which dormant love for Krishna is awakened. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuran Militam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Svayam Rupa Kadamayam Tadati Svapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Ragunatanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakam Vitamscha Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanjana Gaurangi Radhe Brindavanishwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya evacha Patitanam Bhavanevyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Thank you for being with all of you to read from the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Hopefully I can say something useful. Please give me your blessings so that I don't offend anyone. In this section of the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is revealing a secret the secret how to attain love of God, which is the greatest treasure a living entity can attain. And he's revealing this to Sanatana Goswami and to all of us, that we can attain the highest bliss. Real happiness is not to have a lot of wealth, a lot of possessions, or a lot of fame. Real wealth is to have peace of mind and to have love inside the heart. Love not only for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, but love for all living entities, whatever they may be. Also insects, fishes, plants, trees, whatever has the spark of life, whatever is part and part of Krishna. It is beautifully stated, like 2 verses after that. Nitya Sidya Krishna Prem Sadhya Kabunai Shravanadi Shuddha Chitti Karaya Uday. Pure love for Krishna is eternally established in the hearts of the living entities. It is not something to be gained from another source. When the heart is purified by hearing and chanting, this love naturally is awakened. What a beautiful verse. We are all part and parcels of Krishna. We are all under the shelter of Krishna. And like Krishna said before, if we understand this fully with our mind and with our heart, then we enjoy spiritual bliss, which never ends, which is always in us, inside of our heart. And further he states, when a devotee thus fully surrenders unto Krishna's lotus feet, Krishna accepts him as one of his confidential associates. What can be better than that, than to be an eternal associate on the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? This is actual bliss. This is actual happiness, to have this love inside of us. Right now we are subjected to birth and death because our mind is going somewhere else. It's not going towards Krishna or Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It is very beautifully stated by Srila Prabhupada in the purport that when a man is sleeping, he can be awakened by sound vibration. Therefore, every conditioned soul should be given the chance to hear the Hare Krishna mantra chanted by a pure Vaishnava. We know we have 5 elements: earth, water, fire, air, and ether. And we have 5 knowledge-acquiring senses, like smelling, tasting, seeing, touching, and hearing. And these senses are directly connected with the elements, like the sense of smell is connected with the earth. If we dig in the earth and take a handful of earth, we can smell the earth. And this is the only element which have smell. And then water is directly connected with a sense of taste. Our tongue is always wet, because to taste something we need some water. Water is required to taste. So if we come to a source of water and we drink that water, we are directly connected with the sense, with the water, and directly also with Krishna, because he says he is the taste of water. And then seeing is directly connected with fire. Without the sun, we don't see anything. Of course, today we can make the night into a day with the electricity, but still our eyes don't see anything without light. And then we have the sense of touch. The sense of touch is directly connected with the air. Air we don't smell, we don't taste. There is no sight, we cannot see the air. You see it becoming more and more subtle. And the most subtlest of all elements is ether. Ether is the old word for space. Like here we have space, and air is flooding into space. And space is the most subtle of all elements. There is nothing to see, nothing to smell, nothing to taste, nothing to touch. But still, I am touching you right now through sound. Sound vibration is traveling through space. And like this, frequencies are traveling through space. Why we say space there is nothing? Because we don't see, we don't smell, we don't taste. Space seems to be empty, but actually space is an element. Space has the capacity to travel sound. And Prabhupada is mentioning in the purport, somebody who is sleeping can be awakened by sound. Like when we sleep, every other sense is shut out. We don't see anything, we don't smell anything, we don't taste anything, nothing can be. But if the house is set on fire, the only element which awakens us, we don't see the fire, we don't taste, smell the fire. So all these senses are shut down. But if somebody cries, immediately we wake up. And this is through sound. So it's very important. The sound is the closest element, the closest sense to spirituality. Therefore, we practice mantra meditation, because the ear is the closest to transcend the mind. The mind is even more subtle than ether. And the mind can transcend the tendencies of the mind to go in the wrong direction. Because how can we build our eternal home? How can we develop love of God? There is one thing required. There is one key who locks the door, who opens the door, and that is Rag. Rag means to have deep attachment for Krishna. And this is the actual key to open the door. Because right now, somebody may say, but to have deep attachment to Krishna, to have Rag, seem to be so alien, seem to be so far away. But actually, it is not alien. We all have Rag for something. Our mind is driven by something. We have Rag for material objects, for material pleasures, temporary material pleasures. So Rag is not at all alien to us. But right now, our attachments are going into the wrong direction. And therefore, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is teaching here Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti. We have to correct the flow of our attachments from material objects to Krishna. And this is possible through Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti. Practically speaking, it can be said there are three types of religion. There is conventional religion or cultural religion, which means that many people, maybe from their culture, from their parents, get some kind of religion. And they practice that religion without maybe even knowing what they are doing. But because it is the culture and because the parents are doing it like that, they are practicing it. And then there is committed religion. So the committed religion means you are doing something in complete knowledge and with devotion. And then there is spontaneous religion. And that is a type of religion which most people in the world never heard of. It's unknown to the people. Spontaneous religion. Jai Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Devi ki. Jai Shri Shri Gaura Nitai ki. Yeah, so we have to correct the flow of our desires. Krishna has to have captured our heart completely and our mind. And to correct the flow of our desires from material objects, material pleasures, to Krishna, it takes Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti. This is, the Acharyas say, if our desires are going in the wrong direction, then we have to regulate our practice to attain that our desires are going to the right place. And this is Vaidhi. But we don't want to stay in a regulated state. The regulation is only there to bring us to the right place. and to open the door for complete spontaneous attachment. And this is this spontaneous religion. Let's say someone in conventional religion says, I want to give something to Krishna. And one in committed religion says, I give everything to Krishna. And then we can say, okay, you give everything to Krishna. So what is higher? What can be higher than that? Than to give everything to Krishna. And somebody with rag, with spontaneous attraction, he says, I give everything to Krishna, but Krishna is mine, is my Krishna. And this is attachment, this is rag. He is mine. I'm completely captured. It's like a mother when she goes to the school to pick up her child. So many children are there, cute children. Maybe they are more handsome than her own child. They are more learned, more cute. But she will love only her child, her own child, because of this mamata. He is mine. It is my child. Not all the other childs. But even he may be very ugly. He may be stupid. Whatever. But he is mine. This is attachment. This is rag. And this is required. So somebody in a spontaneous religion, attachment, I give everything to Krishna, but Krishna is mine. So, this is very scientific. We have to know that 99.9% of the people in the world practice conventional religion. God is like a wish-fulfilling type of person. We have to imagine a circle, and outside the circle are all the people who don't practice religion, who don't practice any kind of religion. And in that circle, you have those who practice religion, some kind of religion. And within that circle, there is a very small circle, which are those who are committed to their practice. Like, if a devotee say to somebody that he's chanting 16 rounds every day, that means he's practicing prayer. He prays for 2 hours every day to God. That seems very high. Who is praying to God every single day for 2 hours? That seems already very high. This is committed religion. But still, he practices it as a discipline. He knows it is the practice, so, okay, he chants, very attentive, very diligently, with knowledge and devotion. He chants. This is committed religion. That's already a high platform. But somebody with rag, he just have his hand in his bead bag and that's his life. You know, he's not, how to say, he's entering into Krishna's life. Somebody read Rag, even if, you know, what is that verse? Yat tapasyasi, yat karoshi, yat ashnasi, yat chuhosi, dadashi, yat tapasyasi kaunteya, tat kurushva madarpanam. I give everything to Krishna. Krishna, everything is yours. Whatever I have, whatever I do, whatever I offer, everything is yours. And someone with Rag is entering into Krishna's life. He doesn't have a life anymore for himself. He's not attracted through sense gratification. It's like playing in a higher league, you know. You may be the best player in a second league, but you're still in the second league. You don't have that taste. It's if you play in the first league, then you really have that taste for, I don't have any life anymore. My life is Krishna's. So that's Rag. And we know that all our lives, we know samskaras. Samskaras are impressions entering into us. Moment after moment, samskaras entering into us. And these samskaras are forming our personality. And this is called vasana. We have so much samskaras that not all the samskaras can manifest in one life. They need many lives to be manifested. So we took birth now in this form of life, as this kind of personality, with some of those samskaras, which form our personality, which is called vasana. Vasanas are also called sometimes prarabdha karma. This is the karma which manifests. Somebody asked Srila Prabhupada, what is prarabdha karma? And Prabhupada said, you look in the mirror, that's prarabdha karma, that's your prarabdha karma. So we have a certain kind of thinking, we have a certain kind of seeing the world through our tendencies, through that which we think that's me, which form our personality, our wrong identification. So we have to correct that. And of course, this is not easy. This is very difficult. We can see that when sometimes we go to a seminar, and after the seminar we think, oh yes, we change our life completely. That's it. And after 2 weeks, we go back to the tendencies which are deep implanted in our personality, which is conditioned. That's called conditioning. So we cannot change samskaras. These are untouchable for us. We cannot change karma. We cannot change vasanas. But there are also vrittis. Vrittis is the kind of thinking to explain why we act in a certain way, why we are doing what we are doing. We are all experts in explaining our tendencies, how to see the world, how to act in this world. We are expert. And this is vritti. This means the kind of thinking which explains our conditioning. And that's the only thing we can change. We can change the vrittis. We can change the way how we think. But even this is very difficult. So, in the Brihad Aranyaka Upanishad, it is said, you have to see God. If you practice, you have to see God. I think it's what is that? We have to develop our intelligence. What is that? Drashtavyam. No. Yes, drashtadyan. Drashtadyan. It's like imperative, and it means that if we are doing Vaidhi sadhana bhakti, if we are practicing devotional service, the goal should be to see God directly. And the way to achieve this is mentioning also here in, I think, Srila Prabhupada's explanation, like Shravanam Kirtanam somewhere. So the first state is we have to hear. We have to hear from pure sources, from pure Vaishnavas. Or we have to attain knowledge through reading. To become, to change the flow of our desires, we have to have the vision of the saints, which, like Vyasadeva, who wrote the Srimad Bhagavatam, Shukadev Goswami, who spoke the Srimad Bhagavatam, they have a certain vision to see the world. We have our vision to see the world, which is very conditioned, which drives us always to material enjoyment. So we have to attain the vision of the saints, which includes God into the picture. Our vision doesn't include God. Otherwise we would be pure devotees. So we have to attain that vision of the saints through hearing, Shravana. But after hearing comes manana. That means we have to deeply think about what we heard. We have to verdauen. The knowledge has to, through Shastra speaks to us through the intelligence. And the intelligence is that factor which I don't know the word verdauen. Verdauen, was heißt das?
Assimilate knowledge.
Assimilate, but when you eat something and it's kind of digest. Yeah. We have to digest. You know, the intelligence is digesting what we heard. So we have to think deeply about what we heard. What is the connection between what is written or what is heard and me? What is the connection? And how does it fit into my worldview, how I see the world? We have to connect. I am a part and parcel of God, so everything is connected with God. So how to... This manana means strongly think about what we heard. And then after manana comes nididhyasanam. Nididhyasana means a constant meditation. It has to become our second nature. What we heard has to become a part of us. We have to constantly meditate about what we heard. And then it becomes, then slowly, slowly our vrittis are transforming, adopting the vrittis of the saints. And then comes darshanam. Then we can see God. If we have this deep, constant meditation, then we can see God. Then it becomes, this attraction becomes to attachment. It will become attachment to Krishna. Because we deeply absorb what the saints are feeling, the love they are experiencing towards God, towards all living entities. And like this, slowly, slowly, our conditioning is changing. Our condition is, you know, we going, instead of going to the wrong place, we are going to the right place. So this is the process. And we are given this process by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and by the Acharyas, by Srila Prabhupada, who brought it to the West. His whole being was only love, love for us. He didn't have any reason to come to the West. He was very happy in Vrindavan, chanting. But he took all the inconveniences, 2 heart attacks, and all that difficulties, just out of love to bring us that gift, to bring us what is called here the most desirable treasure. And it is true. If we can understand how Prabhupada was feeling, if your whole being is filled up with love, with compassion, then you have